Big changes were in store for the Southeastern Conference in 1992. With the addition of Arkansas and South Carolina, a super conference of 12 teams in 2 divisions was established. The championship format wasn't a playoff, but it sure raised the stakes of each and every conference game. In the summer of 1992, Big Orange Country was rocked with devastating news.
Somebody had called. I would think I was working at the TV station that day, and somebody called in, and I didn't believe it at first. I said, this can't happen.
It's like a death in the family, in your own close family. The University of Tennessee football team suffered a serious loss this morning. Head trainer Tim Karen died at UT Hospital of an apparent heart attack.
It's one of those things that just knocks you back in your seat, and you sit there and look at the wall for an hour and think, my gosh, how can it happen?
The death of Tim Karen was the first in a series of events that would shake the very foundation of Tennessee football and change its landscape forever.
And I still think there's a little void in the athletic department. You don't lose a guy like Tim Karen and not still feel it.
On the heels of the Tim Karen tragedy, no one could have imagined the impact of the next news bulletin.
Good evening. UT coach Johnny Majors is in critical but stable condition tonight at UT Medical Center.
Coach Majors underwent 3.5 hours of open heart surgery this morning.
But the season for Tennessee pushes on. There's a full-scale scrimmage tonight, the second major scrimmage of the preseason. Coach Philip Fulmer now, the assistant head coach and offensive coordinator, will take over the reins.
And I'm confident, just like Coach Major said, he sent a message to the team, you know, straight ahead, and that's just the way that he approaches things. You'll appreciate that. Straight ahead, attack, attack, attack.
He was the offensive coordinator. He knew the offensive game plan. He was a trusted assistant, was a promising head coach candidate, and he was the obvious, and I think probably at that time the only choice to take over the reins.
Thrust into a new role, he prepared for the season opener with Southwestern Louisiana. Adding to the chaos, Tennessee was beginning a new era at quarterback.
You know, and as a receiver, that's what you hope for. If you're going to get a new quarterback, please let him be able to throw the football.
Into the end zone, pass downfield, give it to him. Touchdown!
With hopes riding on the strong arm of Schuler, Tennessee drilled the Ragin' Cajuns, and a new era was underway.
Give him 6.
There was one other new addition to debut. Junior college transfer Charlie Garner joined Hayden, Stewart, and Phillips to complete Tennessee's powerful 4-cylinder running machine that knew only one gear: forward.
Welcome to the Johnny Majors Show. Coach Majors recovering from surgery. Interim head coach Philip Fulmer, the winningest coach in major college football. He's never lost a game.
John, and seriously considering retiring at this point.
With victory number 1 under Fulmer's belt, the Volunteers headed for Athens to meet the highly ranked Georgia Bulldogs. Sanford Stadium was filled to the rim for this SEC showdown. Entering the game, 14-point underdogs motivated Heath Schuler and the rest of the Volunteer squad. In spite of Tennessee's loaded backfield, Schuler led the team in rushing. He also led in passing.
Heath Schuler's athletic ability. We'd all heard about it. We all thought that Heath had the chance to be a very special quarterback. But that night he made things happen out of the ordinary. And then the 4th and 13 play, of course, basically saved the game.
Coach Cutcliffe calls a play of, he said, I want to call a certain play. And everybody looked at it. It was 62 Meyer. And we kind of looked at each other and said, oh, it's going to work.
Back to throw on 4th down 13. Schuler across the middle, complete to the 20. With the football down, he goes to the 17-yard line.
I'm Condrich Holloway here in the victorious Tennessee locker room with Heath Schuler, and I've seen a lot of games, but I've never seen a young man come through and do the things you did today.
We just came together as one unit, played really hard, and it was a team effort.
So I think everybody realized after that night that Coach Fulmer could put together the game plan, could execute, and could manage the sideline. I mean, that's the biggest thing, making the decisions on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 2 and all those, and Coach Fulmer that night was flawless.
We actually beat a team that's probably better than us physically, and we were all so happy to do that collectively as a team and a staff. We got it done, and we kind of kicked the season off in great fashion there, and the sky's the limit. We at that particular time we could have beaten anybody in the country.
We're going to take them one at a time. Beat all that. We are going to stick together. You're a wonderful, wonderful bunch of people. I know that that you'll enjoy the win to the max and stay out of trouble, fully out of trouble, so that everybody's in the hunt come Monday to get those Gators.
The Vols won 34-31, and interim head football coach Philip Fulmer was 2-0. The nation took note.
And the people here in Knoxville are beginning to talk that once Coach Majors does come back, they may lose you to another institution of higher learning as a head coach.
Honestly, I've always dreamed of leading a team through the T, and been through it as a player, been through it as an assistant coach, and it was sincerely one of the biggest thrills of my life to have a chance to do that.
The Georgia victory celebration didn't last long as the imposing Florida Gators came to Knoxville.
A lot of people thought, well, the next week is going to come crashing back down to earth, but again, Coach Fulmer kept this team very focused.
I think going into the Florida game, with Florida ranked number 4, we had the attitude that we could position ourselves in the national picture.
Defense and kicking, as usual, played a major role in this one. An 11-yard run from Schuler gave the Volunteers the early lead.
Yes, yes, yes. Heath Schuler can run. Give him 6. Touchdown, Heath Schuler.
But athletic prowess would take a back seat to Mother Nature. And on this day, she was waving a big orange shaker. The squall was so bad, ABC's television feed out of Knoxville was knocked off the air. While the national audience was watching static, Mose Phillips sloshed his way in the mire 66 yards for a touchdown.
Schuler, misdirection, throws the ball. It is caught by Tennessee at the 35 to the 40, to the 45 to the 50, to the 45 to the 40, to the 35 to the 30, to the 25 to the 20, to the 15 to the 10. He has scored. He has scored. He has gone all the way.
That was a very special time to stand on the field and watch it rain. And Mose Phillips caught a swing pass out of the backfield and runs 70 yards for a touchdown. And when he gets to the end zone, he looks at his watch and he says, "It's about time."
Todd Kelly and the Tennessee defense held the Gators to only 68 yards rushing and under 300 yards in total offense.
I took it so seriously. I mean, that morning, I don't think I brushed my teeth. My parents came, knocked on my door. I didn't answer the door. I was so much in the zone because it was an ABC game. And just when I played, I just felt like I couldn't be stopped. And that was the best game I ever played in my entire life.
That's when I realized that Philip and his guys were really turning the corner.
The Volunteers and Philip Fulmer remain undefeated with a 31-14 win over the Gators. More importantly, victories over 2 Eastern Division teams put Tennessee in the driver's seat of the SEC race.
And, we really played well. We beat Georgia, who we weren't supposed to beat. We beat Florida, who we weren't supposed to beat, and really got on a roll. And I think at that time, the fans and everybody kind of jumped on Coach Fulmer's bandwagon.
But it was still Coach Major's team, and when he came back, it was time for him to take back over, and we all tried to do our best to make it continue to work.
Okay, man, you've grown day to day. You've grown week to week. Attack, attack, attack. Always attack. Hit them the quickest and the hardest and the longest.
Following the victory over Florida, Johnny Majors returned and coached the Cincinnati game from the less stressful confines of the press box.
I don't think anybody ever doubted that he would return. I think everybody was just hoping that he would wait till he was totally healthy and come back. And I think as everybody looks back on it, perhaps he pushed it a little bit too much, and that caused some of the difficulties.
Philip Fulmer directed Tennessee's 4th victory in as many games from the sideline. Just 4 weeks earlier, Tennessee seemingly had no head coach. Now, for some, it had 2.
As a player, you have your loyalty to your head football coach, and that's where a lot of the players did. And it almost felt like, at a point in time, it did separate our team. We didn't know which way to follow. And with Coach Majors coming back, it caused a conflict.
Coach Majors was back on the sideline when Tennessee won at LSU. And then things went sour, sort of, because Tennessee lost a 1-point game at home to Arkansas, then lost to Alabama.
Tennessee had lost 2 consecutive SEC games. The championship and the season were slipping away.
But now we understand that some fans are trying to get Coach Fulmer to return, and the way we understand it, there's a large rock outside the athletic offices there at Tennessee with the words, "Johnny is back, we want Phil." When you go to work and you see something like that, how, if at all, does it affect you, Coach?
It doesn't take a lot of guts to go out and do something in the darkness and paint a rock. It doesn't take much ingenuity.
Well, let me ask you this,
whatever.
Coach.
So, in my opinion, you're going to get some criticism, but you just keep on keeping on. But also, there's the legions of the miserable sometimes. It's always going to be miserable. So you don't let those affect how you approach your team.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time today and wish you the best of success on the football field and off with your health, Coach.
Thank you very much,
Thanks for the
Paul.
time, and good luck at
Okay.
South Carolina next week.
If the Vols were to meet the Western Division champion in Birmingham, they had to win out. Conference newcomer South Carolina had other ideas. Down by 7 with 2 minutes left in the game, Heath Shuler hit Mose Phillips out of the backfield and watched one of the great runs in Tennessee history.
The ball, it's pulled down, yanked down by Mose Phillips, who makes the catch at the 45, down to the 40, down to the 35, down to the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. He carries the ball all the way for what? Touchdown! Big Island!
Tennessee pulled to within 1. In 1992, overtime wasn't an option, and for a team on a 2-game losing skid, neither was a tie.
Fighting for the yardage, he did not make it. But the Gamecocks stopped the Tennessee team.
JJ, out of the tough losses, this is a crushing one.
I can't even put it into words. I can't put it in words at all. It's very demoralizing.
And when Majors came back, I mean, it was a different kind of attitude. And I think that affected the outcome of those 3 ball games that we lost.
The losing streak had reached 3, and all was not well in Big Orange country.
It was kind of a situation for Johnny that wasn't that good. And, hey, you know Tennessee football around here, you know, we could take 1 loss, but 3 in a row, it's going to be some changes.
The Volunteers had an open week to contemplate the future. For some fans and alumni, the future looked brighter with Philip Fulmer at the controls. His early season success made a lasting impression. Most didn't realize it, but the die had been cast. A coaching change was imminent.
You know, the transition there was not an easy one at all for anyone, and the circumstances that surrounded it were really, tough. I think it made me very guarded. Some of the things that happened and some of the things that were said at that particular time.
It was a very gut-wrenching situation. I think at first when the news broke in midweek, nobody really believed it, that it could happen. I mean, here's Johnny Majors. You can't do that to Johnny Majors, but suddenly it turned out to be true. And the press conference in Memphis that night, I think a lot of people were still having a hard time believing this was actually happening.
The night before the Memphis State game, head coach Johnny Majors called a press conference.
I am effective December 31st, 1992, relinquishing all my duties connected with the University of Tennessee. Since the early days of watching my dad, the late Shirley Majors coach, I developed a very competitive spirit concerning football. I played hard, I coached hard, and I demanded a lot of myself and those who surrounded me. Sometimes in the heat of battle, I've occasionally said things that upon reflection I wish I hadn't. But that's been my style, and it has brought me more success than failure.
The following day, a sellout crowd packed the Liberty Bowl to witness an emotional game. But emotions overtook many before the kickoff.
You had a few guys that broke down and cried, in that meeting, and Coach Majors was one of them.
I think you've thought about it. Have a good time today. Play because you love it. There's a lot of you love it. I think you wouldn't be out there working as hard as you did in practice. You don't get to play forever in football, and I'll tell you this. If I could have played football till I'm 57 years old, which I am right now, I'd still be playing. Still be playing, because it's the greatest experience I think I ever had when I was a player. So enjoy it while you can. Knock the hell out of people with a smile on your face and a good taut jaw and a good look in your eye. I don't mean smile on your face every play, but I mean enjoy it. I care the fact that they're going to be keyed up, well, I think we will too. You're the fight to keep there all day long. You do that in football and life, you can always walk around with your head up, your eyes alert, and you're also going to win a lot more than you lose. Think about it. Captains, you can report. You know what we're going to do, right? In your face. All right!
Coach Majors from the old school, and he gave us one of his old school pep talks, and it was very emotional. And I really feel that's why we played so well and went out and did a great job. And we dedicated that game to him.
The end of a difficult week came to a close with a Tennessee victory. Johnny Majors walked off the field, head held high. The next week marked the final walk to Neyland Stadium for Johnny Majors. Fans came in force to say goodbye as Majors ran through the tee for the final time.
The wingback is to the wide side of the field. As Garner, as the Schuler keeps the ball, fakes the pitch to Garner, keeps himself with a 3 at the 2, at the 1, give him 6.
Though nobody knew it at the time, the Majors era would officially end the next week in Nashville against Vanderbilt.
Hit him the hardest and the quickest and the longest. This is a big game. Big game. Your last one of 1992 in the regular season, it's a big-time game.
22 points were scored in the fourth quarter to ensure Johnny Majors would walk off the field victorious in his final game as Tennessee's head coach. Afterward, Tennessee accepted a bid to play in the Hall of Fame Bowl against Boston College. During bowl preparations, Majors announced he would not lead the team in the bowl game.
John, this is my last TV show at the University of Tennessee, and I want to tell you that there have been a lot of thrills. It's been some tough times to come in here on Sunday morning sometimes after a loss and a very disappointing Saturday and try to suck up your breath, and take a deep breath and suck up your guts. But the public out there was waiting to see what we were going to talk about and also what was going to be about the future.
You've always had a smile on your face.
Not always. I don't think so.
When you have a legend, and I don't care what sport it's in football, you want to see them go out on their own terms.
When I was growing up, he was University of Tennessee football. It was Coach Majors.
But there's still some hurt feelings. There's still some people that had trouble dealing with how the whole scenario played out.
Many times in a family situation, the family, they bicker and go their different directions, but let somebody challenge the family, and then we all bond together. And I think that's very much what happened at that particular time.
I'm still kind of sad that Coach Majors right now is not a part of Tennessee athletics, Tennessee football, because deep down in my heart, I think he should be.